What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone is having a fantastic end of their Friday. Jaleel Skinner, four-star tight end of IMG Academy from the state of South Carolina, picked the University of Miami over the Alabama Crimson Tide. Week 2 of the Mario Cristobal era. Ross, what a steal. Great grab for this class moving forward and for the tight end position unit.
Absolutely incredible. You know, you've heard me refer to him as more than a tight end. I refer to him as an offensive weapon because he's that deadly. He can be used all over the place. He is the offensive weapon you want in the spread offense era. He is that guy. And if our tight end coaches work their magic on him like they usually do at Miami, watch out. Watch out.
In regards to Jaleel Skinner, you know, this was someone who, Alabama towards the very end thought they had in their back pocket. Mario Cristobal hired happened, and credit to Coach Fields for never giving up on him as well. He deserves a tremendous amount of credit throughout Skinner's recruitment. But I honestly think Jaleel Skinner could be potentially a starting Power 5 tight end as an underclassman.
Yeah, at minimum, he's got at least some usage in the pass catching game as a versatile weapon. You know what I'm saying? So even at young, even if he's not getting starter snaps, he still can definitely play a role for this offense.
And we got Tyler Van Dyke as our quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Ross, I want to go back to, just talking about Jaleel Skinner as a player, because honestly, under Diaz, this would have never happened.
No.
What makes him so electrifying? Is it his physical measurements, being 6'5", over 210 pounds? What have you seen from him on tape that really makes him that X factor?
Athleticism and length is what I see from him. Really, really hard for cornerbacks to guard him one-on-one. Really difficult if safeties have to get put on him, and he will destroy linebackers if they have to get switched over to him. He's just far too athletic, Paul. This is an amazing, amazing player.
I hate to put high expectations on recruits coming out of high school, but watch out, Will Mallory, Elijah Royal. This is an X factor. This is who you need on your offense, and we got Tyler Van Dyke as our quarterback. That's a complete mismatch for anyone covering Jaleel Skinner.
Absolutely. This is whatever OC we do hire, Paul, is going to have the biggest smile on his face coming into this offense when he sees the weapons he gets to work with and the quarterback he gets to work with. He's going to be smiling from ear to ear because this is major talent. And this is not only major talent, this is major talent that isn't going to be gone in a year or two. This is major talent that's going to be here for a year, 2 or 3.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think I'm curious who our OC is going to be. Everyone keeps saying Kendall Briles, but, if Kendall Briles was going to be our offensive coordinator, don't you think there'd be an announcement made? Why is it so under the rug if it's going to be Kendall Briles? I don't think Kendall Briles is going to be the offensive coordinator at the University of Miami. Now, this is just my opinion, right? Because, I don't know where Arkansas is playing in their bowl game, but he's not in the college football playoffs. I think there's someone lingering in the NFL or currently in the college football playoff that they're trying to keep this under the rug, in my opinion, in regards to the next OC.
I agree completely. If it would have been Kendall Briles, we would be hearing a lot more hype right now, and Cristobal would be closing in on it because Cristobal is a closer. So if he wanted Briles, there'd already be a lot more buzz going on. Definitely. I feel the same way you do. It's either an NFL guy we're waiting on or a college football playoff guy we're waiting on. But either way, Paul, that means we're swinging for the fences.
100%. And when we mean NFL guy, we don't mean like a current NFL OC, a part of an NFL organization, maybe a pass game coordinator for that sense, or a quarterback's coach. Someone working the NFL ranks, not as an offensive coordinator primarily.
Yeah, we're looking for a guy to see the offensive coordinator position at Miami as an upgrade from what they're currently doing in the NFL.
Philly Kane says there's still more to come. Just wait and see. I 110% agree. Remember, guys, Kevin Coleman, 4-star wide receiver out of St. Louis, Missouri, signed on early National Signing Day. He's making his official announcement during the All-American game. I think it's the military one in January 6th or 8th. So a school does know that he signed there. It's just he's going to make it publicly in January. Then Cyrus Moss as well signed his letter of intent today and is going to make his public announcements during the All-American game.
Yep.
Same date as Kevin Coleman. So if Miami can snag those two players, we're just adding more and more. And then we have Shamar Stewart, who has Georgia, Texas A&M, and Miami.
this is the quantity or quality over quantity aspect that we're going for in the 2022 class. This isn't just, some of the old methods we had, Paul, when we were getting this late in the cycle, we would just be hoping to flip some random 3-stars, literally. Like, that's all we'd be going for. He's trying to flip the best of the best. It's fun to watch.
Mario Cristobal has only been here for 2 weeks, and we've already managed to steal Nigel Kelly, Jaleel Skinner, maybe even Kevin Coleman, Cyrus Moss. We just got a defensive lineman from the University of Southern California, Jacob Lichstein.
Yep.
Who I'll take anyone at D-line right now just to provide depth. I'm not expecting him to have a stellar season. I mean, if 4 sacks we get from him next season, that's a win.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gabby Urrutia of 24/7 Sports just released a report saying Frank Latson in Miami, there's mutual interest there. If you guys don't recall Frank Latson, he's around 6'4", 4'4" wide receiver coming out of high school. He's a 5-star recruit coming out, committed to Clemson from South Dade Senior High School near the Homestead, Florida area. So he's out of Miami-Dade County.
Yep.
There's interest. He's in the portal for Miami and Frank Latson. There was also a receiver. I think his name's Theo Weasel, if I'm pronouncing it right. 5-star receiver out of Oklahoma, had 45 receptions this past season. Charleston Rambo came from the University of Oklahoma. Maybe there's a connection there. But we're going to be making some moves. And we got Marcus Banks, Cristobal to the University of Miami as well.
I'm really expecting, I'm not expecting, but I'm hoping that the next thing we hear about is either Marcus Banks or the Kevin Coleman commitment. But either way, I think those things are going to happen for us, Paul. I think we're in a great spot. And I still think we're in a great spot for Cyrus Moss.
Theo Weiss. My apologies, not Weasel.
He said Weasel? I didn't hear that. Sorry.
I said Weasel.
Okay.
So let's talk about Jacob Lichstein. I mentioned it. This was a kid out of Cypress Bay High School in Broward County, I believe, roughly. Commits to the University of Southern California. I believe he tore his ACL in college, thought about retirement, had 4 sacks this past season. Please correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in the chat. Mario Cristobal was a huge fan of him during his time at Alabama. Actually was recruiting him a little bit because obviously he knows the South Florida area. Transfers to Miami today, is the first player out of the portal. I think they're going to set him up at D tackle. Do you like this addition, Ross? I honestly think it doesn't hurt at all grabbing people from the portal at all from other Power 5 programs.
As long as he's healthy and ready to contribute, I'm all for it. I mean, like I've told you before, I ultimately trust Cristobal and his evaluations on players and talent. If he thinks he's going to help this defensive line, then I think he's probably going to help this defensive line.
Hey, if we got a guy like Charlie Partridge to be our defensive line coach, I'm all for that, who is a magician with the D-line.
Yep.
What he did at Pittsburgh was incredible. His resume from Wisconsin, being the head coach at Florida Atlantic, the man knows how to develop his talent.
I did see a video earlier today, too, of Lichtenstein during his recruitment, speaking very, very highly about Miami and about how he'd love to play there someday.
Yeah. I don't think Miami offered him because he said he'd commit to Miami out of high school if they did.
Yeah, I don't think we did, which is it's wild to me to think that USC offered, but we didn't. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. How would you feel about Frank Latson coming to Miami? Hearing the article from Gabby Urrutia, 24/7 Sports, former 5-star recruit, South Dade Senior High School, local product. I mean, people have said that he's injury prone. He has issues catching the football. Those are the red flags people in the fan base have said as to why they wouldn't want him.
I still think he can be a useful piece for us for the simple fact he's got experience. He knows what it takes to win big because he's been on a team that's won big. He's been coached by some really good coaches. And he's a weapon we don't have at wide receiver right now. We still are missing a lot of that physical presence and the taller guys for jump ball stuff we can go to in the end zone. He would at least provide that.
10 minutes into the show, over 160 people watching. Thank you guys so much. Hit the subscribe button if you're ecstatic about Jaleel Skinner committing to the University of Miami. Hit the like button if you want to see Shamar Stewart sign to the University of Miami when he makes his decision. Go for it, guys. All right, Ross. So far, we covered a little bit of recruiting. Big deal about Jaleel Skinner. Do you think this class potentially can end up in the top 25? Because right now we're ranked 49th in the nation. We did surpass the University of Florida. Do you think we can step in and crack the top 25?
If we get some of these players that we're just talking about right now and we add a couple more pieces along the way, I don't see why not, Paul. I mean, right now, like I said, we're not at a quantity level, we're at a quality level. So any 4 stars, any 5 stars are just going to keep shooting us up more and more and more. We're not going to just go out and grab random 3 stars to fill this class to make our class look like a better class. We're going to go for the guys that truly, at least Cristobal wants at Miami.
No, I agree. I think we can snag a couple guys from Oregon as well.
Yeah. There's still time, there's still time, and there's still some really good players left around. And heck, like a guy we just interviewed, Ahmad Moten from the defensive line, he hasn't committed yet, and he said how big his relationship is with Cristobal. So I mean, just names to keep out. We got our eyes on some really good players.
I think you're going to see a lot more players, I think, locally in the South Florida area that Manny Diaz didn't even give the time of day to, that Mario Cristobal is going to offer and try to get into the class. And that's going to be either in South Florida, in the state of Florida, or nationally in the Pacific Northwest as well.
It's nice to have a coach that can recruit elite players nationally. It's not like we're just stuck in our own backyard, stuck in the South. We can recruit anywhere now that we got Cristobal, and he can pull players from anywhere. He's proven that.
And that was the thing with Manny Diaz. He was not a good recruiter. It showed this past class. He could not get anyone in South Florida. He could not get Jaleel Skinner. He could not get Nigel Kelly. We get Mario Cristobal, and 2 weeks later, we land both of those guys. Imagine in 1 year, guys, when we have Mario Cristobal winning football games at Miami, an entire recruiting cycle. That's a top 5, top 10 class easily. High school coaches respect and love Mario Cristobal.
Mm-hmm.
This is the changing of the guards. Recruiting is going to be a lot different in South Florida, for me. I guarantee you.
Not just recruiting, but the development of our players. That was something that lacked under Diaz as well. While we saw some guys start to shine last year, that was because they were forced to. Diaz didn't want that to happen. Even though we were screaming for young players to get out there, that Diaz was basically forced to make that move. Cristobal isn't going to make that same mistake, I don't think. I think Cristobal will play the guys that truly need to be on the field.
Ross, one player we actually had on the show, Jaden Harris, cornerback, 3-star, we interviewed him. When he committed to Miami, we were both a little bit surprised. We didn't expect that. Tell the viewers watching, over 200 people, about Jaden Harris and what he brings to the table, why you were so high on him.
Good cover corner, natural feel for the position. You can see, just the intangibles, the makeup, the nuances are all there. So I can see why Cristobal wanted to keep that relationship good, even though it was Diaz that started it. I'm glad to see Cristobal recognize the talent and then landed the talent. Jaden Harris is better than his ranking, in my opinion.
Now, do you think Travaris Robinson would stay on staff? I feel like he was a part of Kamari Rogers, Chris Graves, Jaden Harris. I think he could have even kept Fegans as well. That was a little bit iffy. I understand that story, but do you think Travaris Robinson needs to stay moving forward?
I think he needs to stay, and I think he will stay. I don't think that these kids would have committed had they not known who their DB coach was going to be at Miami. These are such good players that they're going to want confidence in the choice they make. They're going to want to make sure that they're getting prepared properly. They have a lot of faith in T-Rob. We both know that. We both know recruits love T-Rob. I don't see any reason why he'll be gone now.
I know there's a little bit of impatience. People are anxious, is the appropriate word, to get a named offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator out of excitement. Because we really haven't heard much. People keep saying Kendall Briles. I'll reiterate this. I don't think it's Kendall Briles. I think if it was Kendall Briles, he would already be named OC.
Me too.
I don't think it's Kendall Briles coming to Miami.
There's no reason to wait, Paul. And there's no reason to not have any buzz or anything going on if it was truly him.
So I'm going to ask people in the chat, who do you guys think? Don't say Josh Gaddis. I would be in complete shock. I would be completely shocked if Josh Gaddis, I think he's the Broyles Award finalist or winner, that he comes from Michigan after beating Ohio State to the University of Miami. I would be in complete shock. So don't say Josh Gaddis. Don't say Joe Brady. I think the ship has already sailed on that. Who do you guys think we are targeting? I got a couple Ken Dorsey names out there.
It's
Pass
interesting.
game coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. He's
Yep.
basically, helping Josh Allen, who I think is a good quarterback in the NFL. I don't follow the Bills a lot. If you're a big NFL guy, tell me how their pass game is. Brian Hartline, is he still the wide receivers coach at Ohio State? I don't know. I don't know if there's even interest there.
One thing I want to speak on about the Josh Allen stuff you just brought up with Dorsey is Josh Allen was a raw quarterback who was a dual threat with a cannon for an arm when he got to the NFL. That's Ja'Cory Brown right now. TVD has a cannon for an arm. Dorsey knows how to make these guys work and work at their best level. Garcia has a heck of an arm too. So not just to help us out right now, but like I mentioned, Ja'Cory is the perfect guy for him to build under for 2 or 3 years while he is the coach.
The quarterback position unit is going to be great. We got Tyler Van Dyke, Jake Garcia, Ja'Cory Brown coming in. Loads of talent. Great opportunity for Ken Dorsey.
Yep.
Does
I
he
think the
want
Josh
job?
Allen stuff with Dorsey, I really do. I think that Josh Allen stuff could pay dividends for us for the simple fact that we have similar style quarterbacks.
I'm curious if he wants to do recruiting 365 days out of the year. We'll see.
Yeah. After you've been in the NFL for a while, it's something that not all coaches want to get back into. They like having guys on contract. They like getting guys through free agency and not having to do the recruiting.
So look, you guys watching, hit subscribe if you want Ken Dorsey to be the next offensive coordinator at the University of Miami. Hit the like button for Tom Herman. I want to see this real quick. And I have the numbers in front of me.
I see someone mentioning James Coley too. That was a name that popped out at first, but I haven't heard anything about that at all since then.
I'll be honest with you, in the sense of James Coley, why did he only spend 1 year at Georgia as OC? He had his time at Miami. We saw what he had to do. If anything, Jed Fish was a better offensive coordinator, in my opinion, with Stephen Morris. He went to the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's now the head coach at Arizona. I think Jed Fish is a better OC than James Coley. I'm not on the James Coley bandwagon. I'm not doing it. 1 year at Georgia, he was gone. Sorry. Just my opinion.
I feel the same exact way. He's not a guy I wanted to take for this staff. But I'll tell you what, there's a player we haven't brought up, or a coach we haven't brought up yet, and I brought up to him in the past to you. Not saying you want him for OC or coordinator, but for a role on the team, I still wouldn't mind Chud, dude. Honestly, I wouldn't mind him back on the staff. It's the right role.
And this is why I'm so clueless. People ask me, Paul, who do you think is going to be the next OC? I have no idea. I don't know who they're going for. The only thing that makes sense is that they're playing in a major bowl game, like the college football playoffs, or they're in the NFL. That's the only thing that makes sense.
It's all I can think of. We know what Cristobal does when he wants to get somebody. He gets them. There's buzz for it. There's hype for it. There's solid info coming about it before it even happens. I believe, just like you believe, we're swinging for the fences, Paul. This is going to be a big name from either from the NFL or from a big college.
$2 donation from Falconer X. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. What's the crazy thing about this, guys, is Mario Cristobal is recruiting his ass off with nobody on staff. Mirabal hasn't even been officially announced. Coach Feld hasn't even been officially announced. Footballville Nation stated that Bryce McClendon is going to be the next wide receivers coach at the University of Miami. That hasn't been publicly announced either. Nothing has been publicly announced on the staff. It's really just media outlets confirming it, but nothing from the University of Miami's end. So Mario Cristobal is really the only guy on staff, and he's just using this staff to help him out during this time.
Yeah.
And we're landing elite recruits.
We don't have any coordinators, Paul. We don't have a defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator on this team. What Cristobal's doing is incredible. Most elite players, they want to know exactly what coaches they're going to play for before they sign up to do it. The fact that they trust Cristobal so much, ultimately as a head coach, to make the right decision for them as their coordinator going forward, to already commit to Miami, it's a big deal, dude.
Earl Little Jr. has committed to the University of Alabama.
Yes.
That's where he's going.
Yep.
That's it. It's official. Let's see. A lot of people saying Tom Herman. Does Tom Herman even want this job? I don't know. I have no idea. We can't just say random names and expect people to want it. Everybody was saying Mark Rhodes from Baylor. I don't think he was ever contacted. There needs to be a bridge, a connection. You can't just say a random name for people to come. I'm not just saying Tom Herman. I'm just seeing a lot of people mention Tom Herman. I don't know if he even wants this job. I don't know
if there's even any tie on the coaching staff with anybody that Cristobal is familiar with that would be familiar with Herman. It isn't college football. Familiarity speaks volumes. These guys want to know the guys understand their system when they walk in the door.
You don't want to work with someone you don't know. I think Diaz made that mistake with Dan Enos.
Yeah, our 1 year quick mistake. Thankfully, Lashley was brought in. Best of luck to Lashley at SMU. But Cristobal is going to hire a kick-ass OC. I have no doubt about it.
No, Carl, I believe he signed his letter of intent today. Yeah, it's official. Jaleel Skinner will be a Miami Hurricane. It's a done deal. So that's great.
Yep. I mean, dude, it was what I've been waiting for today, dude. I was busy this morning, and when I got back onto Twitter and I saw that, dude, I literally started pumping my fists in the store I was in, dude. I don't know if people thought I was crazy or what, but I was literally celebrating in the middle of a store when I saw that.
Miami Canes 37, thank you so much for the $10 donation. Frank Latson may be coming home. I think that would be a solid pickup for the wide receiver rotation. Never hurts to get, someone from a good Power 5 program in Clemson to come on down. Local kid from Miami. The only red flags people say is that he has a tendency to drop the ball.
One thing that's really interesting to me about Ladson with all this, and it has to do with Likens. Likens has success working with guys like N'Keal Harry and Brandon Ayuk, big receivers that can move, very similar to Ladson.
Yeah. No, 100%. 100%. No, I did not like Manny Diaz, the Manny Diaz cult. I know you guys are probably listening out there, the Mannyites, whatever you want to call each other. 2 weeks of Mario Cristobal. We get Nigel Kelly. We get Jaleel Skinner. It's a complete 180. Plus, we're still in game. Kevin Coleman, who, I don't know. People are saying he's going to Miami. That's everyone, social media, are pretty confident he's going to be a Miami Hurricane. There's a crystal ball on him for 24/7 Sports. Cyrus Moss making his announcement today. I mean, not his announcement, signing. We'll find out for the Under Armour All-American game or the military one, U.S. All-American game. I love this hire. I love Mario Cristobal. Manny Diaz, that was a dark time during the University of Miami. It was sad and depressing. The game.
Mario Cristobal is proving how bad of a coach Diaz was.
He doesn't even have a staff, Ross.
2 weeks, he's proven how bad of a coach Diaz was. That's amazing.
He doesn't even have a staff. Nobody on his staff. Like Mirabal is coaching Oregon for the bowl game, the Alamo game against Oklahoma. McClendon, Feld, everyone is over there getting ready. They're getting their team ready for the game. It's just Mario and Travaris Robinson, DeMarcus Van Dyke, Coach Fields assisting.
It's amazing, dude. I don't know. Have you ever seen anything like this, Paul? Have you ever seen a coach come in with this little amount of time with no coordinators and pull elite recruits from some of the biggest schools in the nation?
Only ace recruiters, only the 10 out of 10 recruiters. And Mario Cristobal is one of the best recruiters in the nation, and the staff he brings as well. We will have a top 10 class year in and year out at the University of Miami, and we will get the best recruits in South Florida. I guarantee you.
Whoever Mario identifies is going to be the right guy, in my opinion, because he's done such a great job at identifying talent, especially while he was at Oregon. It's not that he just had to get elite 5-star and elite 4-star kids. He also found some amazing 3-star talent to add to that team as well. So he knows how to discover talent. Diaz simply didn't.
Falconer X, $10 donation. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. It is so important that the coaches brought in are Miami guys that understand Miami. It is not UF. It is not FSU. It is not Clemson or Alabama. Miami is special and different, but not for everybody. Thank you again.
The way we do things is definitely different at Miami, and we need to get back to doing it in a way that makes us all proud and makes us a winning team again.
So, Ross, defensive coordinator, I'm going to throw you 3 names. Actually, I'll throw you 2, Derek Mason or Schumann.
I'm hearing buzz on both of them, Paul, honestly. And I've heard more buzz about Mason lately than I have about Schumann, but I still believe we're in it for Schumann, and I still believe Cristobal has his eyes on him because he's the perfect fit for what we want to do, in my opinion.
Do you think we're going after a Power 5 defensive coordinator?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. We're not going to try to do a low-key pickup or anything like that. We're going to swing for the fences at both coordinator positions. I guarantee it.
Hey, I'm excited. I'm ecstatic. We can get Charlie Partridge as D-line coach. Keep Travaris Robinson at your secondary. Linebackers, throw in Derek Mason as a defensive coordinator. Linebackers coach, whatever. That would be great. Throw in Schumann as your defensive coordinator. That would be great. I just want ace recruiters, elite recruiters. Because at Manny's past staff, Packy, iffy as a recruiter. Simpson, more of a developer. O-line coach Justice, I mean, I think he did solid second half of the season, but I'd rather have Mirabal. I think
Yeah.
I think he could land a Malik Agbo for a full cycle. I don't think Justice could do that.
Is Packy still on our staff?
No, he's gone. I think he's gone.
Well, I'm just saying, like, temporarily, I guess right now, is he still officially just a member of Miami, but will be, of course, moving on from him eventually?
Yeah, just coaching the bowl game.
That's what I figured. Yeah. I just figured. No way Cristobal keeps a guy like him. Cristobal's an elite recruiter, and he wants to be surrounded by other elite recruiters.
Do you think Rob Likens is getting a tryout for this game to coach the bowl game as offensive coordinator?
I mean, that it's fair to consider it, for the simple fact that Mario gets to see it in person and really see it up close. So, and not just at practice, on a game situation. So, that's valuable. It really is. It's valuable to see what Likens can do in that, and especially knowing he used to be an OC. Maybe he learned some tricks from Lashley.
I agree. Yeah, no, after the bowl season, coaches will be gone and others will be in. I don't think necessarily there's a rush, to hire an OC or defensive coordinator. I'm just curious if people are saying Kendall Briles, why hasn't he signed already? Why are we waiting so long? So that's why I don't think it's Kendall Briles. It has to be someone either in the NFL or deep in the college football playoffs. I'm sorry.
With the help we need in this 2022 class on offense, if it was Briles, I think would have at least heard about it or be hearing a lot more about it by now.
Ross, if Shamar Stewart was to sign today, or whenever, do you think he's a Miami Hurricane? I think right now Texas A&M has the edge. I think Miami's on the outside looking in.
I think that we're closer than some people realize, but I think A&M has that little bump ahead of us. And Shamar being an elite player and seeing the class that A&M has are brought in and knowing that Jimbo can work with elite players, I can see why he's interested in that.
Hit the subscribe button if you want Shamar Stewart to sign to the University of Miami and suit up in the orange and green at Hard Rock Stadium. Hit the like button if you want Derek Mason to be the next defensive coordinator at the University of Miami.
How do you feel about Mason, Paul?
Yeah, I think he did a good job at Auburn. I think it's very tough to be, primarily what I'm focusing in on is the game against Alabama. It was a defensive game the entire time. I hate to compare, but he shut down Alabama, their offense, all four quarters. It's tough to shut down a team when you give them 20 to 25 yards in overtime, to work with. I think that's not a fair comparison, but I thought he did a tremendous job against Alabama. And I think he'd do a tremendous job at Miami in the ACC Coastal compared to the SEC.
I agree completely. I agree. One thing I want to bring up here too, Paul, when we were talking about the recruiting stuff is I did see two big-time recruits show Skinner love and make a call out basically repping the Canes today. And it was 4-star running back Stacey Gage and 5-star athlete Sambo and Pemba. These are big-time players, dude, and they were showing Skinner love today on Twitter.
Now, since you're on top of this more than me, Pemba, for example, do you think Miami, what class is he in? Do you think Miami's in play? Give me more background about Pemba.
Yeah, I don't think that we were in play at all, honestly, just a couple weeks ago. There was no buzz. There was nothing. There was really no relationship with Miami. This is all developed immediately since Cristobal get here. So it's so new. I have a hard time really, saying what it is. But the fact that the relationship is already happening when it wasn't happening under Diaz, at least we're moving in the right direction. And this is a special player.
Guys, 30 minutes in, over 400 people joining us live. Greatly appreciate your support. Over 410 people. We got 418 people in the chat. Hit subscribe if you want to see Shamar Stewart as a Miami Hurricane. Hit the like button if you want to see Derek Mason as defensive coordinator. Greatly appreciate your support, guys. Thank you again for tuning in. Ross, give me something we have not spoken about you want to touch up on. So far.
We really haven't spoke a lot about Marcus Banks. We mentioned him, but this is a guy that can come in right away and help our cornerback team do it. He's a guy, he's a plug-and-play starter, in my opinion. He knows what it takes to win at the biggest levels because he's from Bama. I would love to see that move next for us because he's a guy who can help us out immediately.
I think Marcus Banks would be a phenomenal implementation to our cornerback room. Imagine getting Tyreek Stevenson, Corey Couch, Marcus Banks, throw in a DJ Ivy, throw in your Marcus Clarks, Isaiah Dunson's. We're going to have depth. We're going to have a completely fine room. Kamari Rogers, Chris Graves. We're going to be fine. I think that's an outstanding plug-in player from Alabama. Perfect.
This is the type of transfer guy that we're going to need this year, Paul. We're going to need guys to plug and play right away. We can't just depend on the youth or all that kind of stuff. Cristobal is going to need a good mix of it. So he's going to want to get guys from the portal that he trusts can start for Miami week 1 or at least be valuable depth going forward.
My opinion on Lichtenstein, look, 6'7", over 240 to 60 pounds, freak athlete. Freak measurements. If he gets 4 sacks for us this upcoming season, that's a win. That's all I see it. I'm not expecting him to be an all-conference player. I see depth, role player, plug into the lineup. He almost retired from the game of football from a torn ACL. I think he's a Mario guy. I don't think this is a Manny Diaz guy.
Valuable depth if healthy. As long as he stays healthy, he will at least be able to get snaps for us and some big-time snaps, honestly, too, in big moments because he's capable of it when he's healthy.
100%. Yeah, no, for those of you guys joining, Gabby Urrutia of Inside the EU, 24/7 Sports, Frank Latson, there's mutual interest there. But hey, we've heard this a lot in the sense of players being interested. Remember, Theo Weiss of Oklahoma, 5-star recruit, 45 receptions, I think over 600 receiving yards. He just landed in the transfer portal as well. It's going to get bigger and bigger. So just look out for that.
And I want to make a mention here too, guys. The questions and responses I'm getting from recruits in the 2023 class is totally different than it was just 2-3 weeks ago with Diaz. It is completely different. There's so much more hype for Miami right now in that class, and we both know how elite that class is, Paul.
What's Jaden Wayne, 5-star defensive lineman, saying? Because I know he's going to be a big one for 2023.
He was extremely high on Cristobal at Oregon. They had a great relationship started. He knows some of the players that have played under Cristobal, so he can, reference them and understand what kind of coach he is. And Cristobal is in touch with him on a weekly basis now. Jaden did tell me that.
Manny Diaz was not, correct?
Not at all. And Jaden was confused as hell as to why that happened.
He's a 5-star player, top 5 recruit in the nation.
5-star defensive end, 5-star pass rusher. One of the most versatile and elite pass rushers in his class. There's no doubt about it.
From the state of Washington.
Yes, sir. And he's a Northwest guy, which gives Cristobal another leg up.
Do you think he's going to stay in the West Coast, or do you think he can make the run to Miami with Cristobal's HC?
I think he can make the run to Miami. I really do. It's fair to say either way. But, yeah, Miami is a viable option. There's no doubt about it.
Sean, I think Jim Leavitt is a good defensive coordinator. I just think we're going for a bigger fish. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
It's why we're waiting. We wouldn't be waiting if we weren't. We're swinging for the fences, guys. Cristobal knows how important it is to really make the right hires going forward and to be a productive team year 1, year 2, year 3. Not wait and not have to make changes yearly like Diaz. Get the staff that you want, you truly want, and you trust, and have them there for 2 or 3 years.
Hey, Ross, that's a good question by Salty Cuban. How much more is the offensive coordinator job, to the coaches, as we have a top quarterback in the nation, Tyler Van Dyke. We have great athletes. We have an outstanding running back room. There's going to be speed at Miami. How and plus we have the money too. That's a key one. But how do you think? You think it'll be a more attractive job now?
As of today, it even got more exciting, honestly. TVD, of course, is a big draw. But Skinner is such a huge piece. And I'll tell you what, we land Kevin Coleman too. That offense is looking very, very, very attractive to any coach that wants to come in and develop the recruits that we have.
Rock Allen asks, who should we target in the portal? We're going after Marcus Banks, Frank Latson. We just landed Jacob Lichtenstein, defensive lineman out of University of Southern California. Any other name you can think of? Theo Weiss maybe from Oklahoma, receiver. Any other name you can think of?
I'd like to eventually maybe hear that Justin Flo might be a possibility for us in the portal. That would be a name that I hope could follow Cristobal down there because we know how much we could use a guy like Flo. He's not a realistic option right now, but maybe in the future he can be. I was surprised at the Lichtenstein one. I didn't know that we were even going after him that heavy, Paul. I really didn't. I knew we were in contact, but I didn't know we were going after him as far of a committable transfer offer. So there's definitely things in the works right now that we're not even aware of.
My apologies, Mitchell Branson. I was off by 10 pounds. I said 240 to 260. I'm so sorry about that. My apologies. Terrence Lewis, I don't think he's a take under Mario. Just my opinion. I don't think he's a take.
I think we would have heard more buzz on that immediately already, too. Honestly, I mean, that's the type of player, elite player, that Cristobal doesn't waste time on. He brings in if he wants him.
I don't think he's a take. Look, and like Anthony said, this tight end combination is going to be outstanding, man. You got Elijah Royal, Will Mallory, you got Jaleel Skinner. Like this is just enhancing depth that we're going to get at positions. We have depth at the running back room. We're going to need work at offensive line. Gainer's going to the University of North Carolina. If you guys didn't find out today, he's not coming back to Miami. So we're going to need work at the offensive line unit. The good thing is our head coach is a former offensive lineman, and Mirabal is one of the best in the nation, and he's good at recruiting. Wide receivers are young. They have a lot of potential. Okay, we have a great quarterback. I think the main issue on offense, plug in a playmaker at wide receiver, an experienced player like we had with Charleston Rambo last season, potentially be your number one or your number two receiver. Just add depth and work with your offensive lineman to get better. That's the main issue. I think we're golden.
I think, too, with you mentioning the tight end position, while having those two amazing young pass catchers, Mallory started to look better towards the end of the year in our system as well. So hopefully Mallory can show some improvement going forward because we could still use his experience. There's no doubt about it.
I don't think we're going to get Eric Bieniemy for offensive coordinator. I don't think we're going to get Josh Gaddis. No. I also don't think Kendall Briles is an option. I think he would already be signing to Miami. But, hey, if we get Eric Bieniemy, great. I'm not putting it down. Just I don't think it's going to happen.
I have a strong feeling, Paul, that we're going to swing for the fences in the NFL. That's just my personal feeling. I feel like we're going to target a guy in the NFL to bring down to Miami.
I think we're looking for a pass game coordinator too in the NFL. Just my gut.
Pass game coordinator / quarterback coach is what I think we're looking at.
I mean, you know, Kevin, I don't know if Ken Dorsey is an option. I don't know if he wants to recruit 365 days out of the year. But I think as the pass game coordinator for the Buffalo Bills, working with Josh Allen, I think he deserves an interview. I think if there is interest, I think an interview is acceptable.
Absolutely. And also being one of the members of our greatest football teams we've ever had. So, I mean, bringing a little bit of the glory days back in an appropriate way, in a proper way, isn't a bad thing. It's just all about handling it properly.
All right. Running back position coach, here's my thing. I think Eric Hickson may or may not be retained right now. I don't know any inside information. I just think this is my guess. I know that Jaquan Cedar is always a hot name because he covers South Florida recruiting at Penn State. He's the running backs coach there, and he's been covering. He has strong ties in South Florida. He's very good. He has a good relationship with the high school coaches. Jaquan Cedar will always be a candidate for the running back position coach. But I'll say this. Go ahead, Ross. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say the one reason I could see Hickson being valuable in Cristobal's eyes is because he is a good recruiter. That's why I can see that value.
I will say this. The running back room at Miami, doesn't matter who's the coach, it always reloads with NFL talent every single year, no matter what.
Yep. And we've got some amazing talent already there. You know, think about guys like Thad are getting more mature and more experienced. I mean, we've got an exciting group back there, especially if guys like Chaney and Knighton stay healthy.
All right, 480 people in the chat. Listen, one more time, guys. Hit subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Hit the like button if you haven't liked already. I've been doing this for 3 years. Ross tagged along. Was it 1 or 2 years around there, or 1.5 year?
I'm 11 months in it with you, bro. Not 1 year yet.
480 people live with us, 40 minutes in. Baby steps, people. Baby steps. We're going to get better and better. And our guests, our recruits that we have on are going to be outstanding for the class of 2023 as well.
We're frankly tied in very well at 2023 already, and I'm glad that we recognized how important that class is because it is the elite class. While 2022, of course, is the topic, 2023 has to be the main goal, and I'm sure Cristobal is fully aware of it.
All right. People, we've been talking about the portal, where we're at, new names who we're targeting. We've covered that already, so just rewind. You'll see it all. Anything we haven't covered, Ross? We've done coaching, staffs. We talked about Jaleel Skinner, Jacob Lichtstein, Frank Latson, Marcus Banks. We've covered it all. Anything we haven't touched up on that you think would be a great topic? Anything in the chat you guys want to talk about that's not the transfer portal that we have not covered? Because we've covered a lot already in 40 minutes.
I see Anthony mentioning Kellen Moore.
No,
and I want to just, I know it's not going to happen, but I want to just speak on it for a simple fact that I know his dad, and I went to the same high school as him. I can tell you guys, Kellen Moore's not leaving the NFL. Like I said, I know his father. I was in a very small town. I lived with them, and I played under him when I was there. It's not happening.
Yeah, Matt, appreciate that. Yeah, first video, I remember that one too. It was pretty shitty. That's why it was my blow. I can only get better from there. Only get better. Now I'm doing wings commercials with Brandon Merriweather. Never thought that would happen. Last minute flips of offensive line that we may be looking at. Sure, Mario is already looking. Anyone you can think of, Ross? I'm not. You're more into it than me.
That is one that I'm not aware of, guys. I haven't gotten any information on who we're seeking out in that department, but I have a feeling that we're at least going after a couple guys. And if they have ties to Oregon, don't be surprised.
Cool. We're ranked 49th, guys. We can crack the top 25 if we land Kevin Coleman, which I guess Josh Newberg of Florida State. Coleman told the staff he's not coming. He's going to Miami. They're aware of that. So I'm not trying to be that guy. That's what Josh Newberg said of Florida State 24/7 Sports, I believe. And then Cyrus Moss, check out his interview we did with him before he signed today. I believe we went live Wednesday, was it, or Tuesday, with Cyrus Moss, and he was going to speak to Brevin Jordan and Bubba Bolden before he signed. The reason why he was interested in Miami was because of Mario Cristobal, because Manny Diaz did not have any contact, nor was he interested in the University of Miami being out of Bishop Gorman High School in Las Vegas, Nevada. So this is solely just a Mario Cristobal tie-in for this recruit, Cyrus Moss. This is the Mario Cristobal effect for the Manny Diaz cult, the Manny Diaz Whisperers, the Manny Knights, whatever you want to call each other. Goodbye. He's gone. It's the Mario Cristobal era, and we're snagging elite recruits in South Florida and in the West Coast.
I think we can hit that top 25 class, Paul, with the momentum we got and the type of coach we have. I think we can hit that, even though Diaz put us about in the worst position you could be in this class. What Cristobal is doing, I don't know if I can say it any other way, but it's simply amazing, dude. It's absolutely amazing.
Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald did report there was mutual interest with Joe Brady at the moment. He is looking elsewhere to pursue NFL options. That's according to Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald. Just keep it there.
Yeah, I think that one's definitely not going to happen for us. There's realistic guys for us, and there's unrealistic guys. And as time goes on, we're all going to start realizing who the realistic guys are more and more.
All right, we have 515 people listening to us live, guys. Hit the subscribe button if you want Will Muschamp to be the next defensive coordinator at the University of Miami. Hit like if you want Derek Mason to be the next defensive coordinator at the University of Miami. 515 people listening to us live. I think that's a record on my channel. Maybe I hit 700 one time. I'm not sure. It's been a while.
You know what else I think is kind of funny here is seeing these FSU guys on Twitter claiming that Skinner really wasn't a big take for Bama and that they really didn't try hard to keep him. I think it's hilarious, bro. Like, they're hurting so bad right now. Skinner was definitely a take for Bama. Definitely.
That was a huge win over Nick Saban. Huge win. And that's the Mario Cristobal effect. That's why we pay $8 million a year for Mario Cristobal, to get the best of the best.
You know, some people are saying that, it's because they have other tight ends that are committed. But here's the thing is that, like I mentioned before, Jaleel Skinner is more than a tight end. He's a versatile piece. Just because you have other tight ends on the roster doesn't mean you can't use him. You can even use him as a jumbo wide receiver in the right package.
Yeah. Oops. Because we're not going to have a number one recruiting class, man. I'm sorry. Like, it just doesn't. That takes a year over time to build. I mean, we're not going to go from 89 to, like, Manny Diaz did not put this class in a good spot for Mario to get a number one class.
No.
It's not happening. I'm not trying to be that asshole.
No possible way. But the goal should be a top 5 class for next year.
Norman, sorry about that. I always mess this up. Fujoka, $10 donation. Thank you so much. Joe Brady is now a long-term solution. He will leave after 2 years. I think a lot of OCs are going to be leaving after 1 year or 2 years. It's present-day college football. Seems like players just leave after 1 year, 2 years to another program. So I think it's just present-day college football.
It is. And, if you're a good OC, you're going to get head coaching offers. So that just means doors are going to open.
Anthony, Kellen Moore, he's the offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, correct, Ross?
Yes.
He's not coming. He's not coming. You're not going to leave the Dallas Cowboys to be the OC at the University of Miami.
No,
it's not Anthony, I'm sorry. The pipe dream is not, it's gone. It's over.
Yeah, this one simply isn't going to happen. And also for another fact that Moore has absolutely no ties with his current coaching staff.
ETS, thank you for the $2 donation. Happy holidays, guys. W in the bowl game in build. Absolutely. Happy holidays to everyone listening. Thank you so much. And yeah, let's get a win in the bowl game, man. When was the last time we won a freaking bowl game? Was it West Virginia in the Russell Athletic Bowl? Then Reno, against Nevada in Boise, Idaho in the Bluegrass game.
Heck, man, we even lost to Washington State in a bowl game recently. We haven't been doing good at all. Louisiana Tech. This is when we need to make the change. This is when we need to show the Diaz era is dead and we're moving forward on the best foot possible.
And by the way, I mean, the Coastal's wide open next year. It's Pittsburgh lost everyone. UNC lost Sam Howell. They actually do have a good class coming in, by the way. I think it's top 10. Virginia lost Mendenhall. Virginia Tech fired their previous head coach, Justin Fuente. Like, it's wide open. This is Miami's year to be the favorite. And then Dabo is going to get a new OC, a new defensive coordinator. This is the year for Miami to win with the best quarterback in the nation.
Perfect timing for a guy like Cristobal to come in. Take advantage of what's in front of him. He knows how to win. You know, the Pac-12 wasn't great, but he still won and still got an image for them nationally.
Ross, Big J wants to know where Snoop going to end up going. You are very close to the family. Snoop Ama, break it down for everyone.
Unfortunately, right now, there are two ACC schools that are high after him. Virginia and Syracuse are both high after him. He also has had contact from another rival of ours. And I believe that Baylor actually contacted him recently. I don't think there's been any talk between him and Cristobal, unfortunately. I spoke to his dad earlier this week. We're hoping that maybe something happens. We're hoping that maybe that gets rekindled. But as of right now, I just don't think it's happening, unfortunately.
It is what it is. Got to trust Mario Cristobal and the talent he wants to evaluate.
Especially on the offensive line, right?
I honestly think Tyler Van Dyke, I don't know next year who the top quarterbacks will be, but he's got to be in the top 5 at least. He's got to be in the top 5.
Speaking from statistics alone, he has to be. I mean, dude, his numbers were absurd. They were absolutely ridiculous.
Like coming in like randomly too, because like back of his head, he probably thought Derek King was going to be the guy the whole year.
We did that with a failed coaching staff. So, I mean, dude, Cristobal is going to only make things better and better and better. That's what's awesome is we just saw a glimpse of what we can have. Cristobal will really show us what we truly have.
Guys, I don't want to hear the word James Coley. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I don't think he's going to be an offensive coordinator here. I don't. I think if a position coach, fine. Welcome aboard, James Coley. I don't think he's going to be the next offensive coordinator at Miami. I don't think so. If I'm wrong, I'll come on here and do a complete show about James Coley.
I believe you on that one, dude. I don't think he's the OC. But as a position coach, I'd be intrigued.
Okay, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Tyler Van Dyke. Who else? I mean, I think he deserves to be in that discussion.
How much better is Stroud than TBD? Honestly, how much better is Stroud than TBD? I don't think there's that much of a difference.
I don't really watch. I don't watch Ohio State that much. I know he like kind of against. I mean, I just don't watch him that much to even say anything.
TBD, at least from my perspective and my view, is a top 10 quarterback nationally and possibly a top 5 already, with a chance to move up week by week by week because he's that good and we have that good of a head coach now.
Chug Mo Beer, $10 donation. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. Paul and Ross, thanks for all your hard work on the U. If this is what Mario can do in less than 2 weeks, wow. Future is bright at Miami. Canes for life. Wish you guys the best always. Thank you again, Chug Mo Beer. Greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Chug Mo Beer is always showing love, so I got to give him some shout out too, man. Thank you, Chug. You're always with us here, and you're always showing support.
Absolutely. There is smoke with Frank Latson. Now, keep in mind, though, the transfer portal goes in and out. People come in, people come out. Priorities do change day by day. Theo Weiss, 5-star Oklahoma receiver, 45 receptions this past season. Looks pretty good.
I can see the Ladson stuff being serious. I really can. I think I can see this being more than hype because of the fact that he's a local guy and he's a piece we don't have on offense at wide receiver. I can see Cristobal wanting that for our end zone or a red zone offense, definitely.
All right. Well, 50 minutes in, 550 people joining us. Anything else you got, Ross, before we wrap it up? Quick show, we do it on the fly.
Nothing really. I think we hit on all the main topics today, dude. We hit on the guys that committed and the guys who are going to commit in the future possibly, and the transfer portal. So I think we covered all of our bases today and possible coaches. So, dude, nothing but exciting times at Miami right now going forward, guys. We did this without 2 coordinators, no defensive coordinator, no offensive coordinator, and we still landed elite talent. Thank you, Mario Cristobal.
The future's bright at Miami. This is only week 2 of Mario Cristobal on the recruiting trail. Imagine 1 year. I hope everyone has a fantastic day. Thank you to the over 500 people joining us on this show. And always, all about the U. Go Canes.
Go Canes.